So I'm just going to turn on a timer that says 15 minutes, and it's going to count down, so I'll just be right on time, very punctual, and like to measure stuff, so we'll get a little bit into that. So my name is Kristian. I work 50%, only half-time, at Graduateland. I've been there for a little over a year now, and I was hired to do something related to growth. And after a little bit of discussion, we found out that the goal would be to monetize 30,000 monthly signups. Graduateland is split into 3 different parts. It's a job platform for newly graduated students. The students sign up, 30,000 a month. They look at jobs, and the companies pay to have their jobs appear higher, normal stuff. For a white label version of Graduateland, they show it to their students who get jobs. Universities are very happy. They pay us, we're very happy. The last one is the students, the 30,000 students. They stick around, they engage, they find jobs, they're very happy. They don't pay us. That's where I came in. So that was kind of the challenge. Now I want to talk about the processes that we used, and this is not just me, of course. And I'm going to talk about it from a little bit of a weird perspective. This is not so much about marketing, it's about how to find a product that people will actually buy. And I'm not going to talk about the growth part of it. You know, this is called growth hacking. I want to talk about that. You want to get to the top. You want to get to be the guy who's standing on top with lots of active users who are paying you lots of money, right? Yes. Now, you have to climb to get up there. And I'm going to talk about what happens if you fall, if you fail. It's not something that we like to talk about in startups and whatnot. Above that, of course, there's lots of hope. I'm also going to talk about that. But main focus of this presentation is going to be about removing the risk while maintaining all the hope. That's a good part, right? Because why would, if somebody offered to put a lot of cushions under you while you're climbing this mountain, you would be silly to say no. You can still get to the top, but it doesn't hurt so much if you fall. So I'm going to talk a lot about that. And I want to do that by front-loading it, so we do all the risk ahead of time before we really invest. And when you fall, you only fall back down to this second level here. Where are we now? This guy, that's a year later, we are there. We built this product. It's an easy, authoritative CV builder. It helps students to build CVs. We found out over the course of the past year that students are afraid of building CVs. They find it very anxious-inducing to do so. Right now, about 10% of all our monthly signups spend on average 2 hours creating a CV in the CV builder. So how can you get 10% of your users to spend 2 hours to do something? Is it making money? We don't know yet. We hope so. But we feel it's valuable. So how do we get there? We go all the way back to the guy in the bottom where we have no clue. What could work? Collecting ideas. So the whole point, everyone has heard about this design process, you start out with a lot of ideas. So I'm going to throw lots of tools and stuff and methods that we used at you, and hoping afterwards you can ask about the specific ones. So we did an empty your head session where everyone from different departments got together and just emptied out every single idea they had, because they've been working on this for a very long time, so they have a lot of ideas already. We did something called jobs to be done workshops, very hot word in startup scene. Customer interviews and made personas. We looked at usage stats when we were spying a lot of competitors, see what they were building and what they were doing. I don't know which one of these is going to work, but from it we got 31 ideas. We thought were good. We had high hopes for these 31 ideas. And then we killed 21 of them. Because you can very quickly find out if they're bad. And that's kind of like what you're trying to do. It's very easy to come up with an idea. It's very hard to come up with an idea that people will actually want to pay for later or actually want to use. And find out if they want, so it's much easier if you have a lot of them. How did we kill them? We did a rule of thumb evaluation. So I made a huge spreadsheet, I put them all in there, and I did a lot of rules of thumb, and I checked yes, no, yes, no. Now, I would say that about that much is useful of this, and all that other stuff is not very useful. Kind of a waste of time. The 2 things which were useful was writing out, well, in my case, my thoughts, and writing down what is the pain we're solving for the customer. Just writing out my thoughts. All the other stuff, why did we do it, or why did I do it in this case, was out of fear. Because you thought I might miss something. I might not have thought about it enough. But actually, just writing these 2 first fields was usually the thing that kind of tipped the thing over, and you kind of knew after that anyway, if it was a good idea. And I'm assuming that you all know that you have to find a good big market, you have to find something that you should actually care about, and all these things. But you can sit down and think about that and actually write it out, not just think about it in your head, and you'll actually get a pretty good idea where you're at if you're trying to be a bit, skeptical about yourself. So here's one example. We thought, let's do a professional contract review. Students can have their first job contract reviewed by us, by a professional lawyer, and they'll pay us for it. And here are my first thoughts that I copied from the spreadsheet. They might be willing to pay a lot for it. That's good. It requires knowledge of laws in different countries. We're in lots of different countries across Europe. It's already offered by A-kasse in Denmark. Not many use it, I've heard from them. We're selling hours of lawyers' work, which means you have to pay people, and you have to get a little scale on top of that, which is very hard to scale. You have to get tons of lawyers who can handle all these different income, and you don't earn that much more per individual you hire, so it's hard to scale. But it's a potential differentiator showing commitment. We bend that idea. It's very hard to scale. You add one more person, you add a little bit more extra capacity. It's not like a rocket ship going to Mars. So that was one idea, but just showing that just writing that stuff out, this is exactly what I wrote. I just copy-pasted this. It helps to say, you know what? It's not the best thing in the world. Okay, so we have some idea. Now we were left with 10 because we killed 21 for 31. And we thought, okay, these seem pretty good. These seem to actually work. So how can we go from here? We started investigating, and we killed 6 more. Now I'm going to go through again some very quick tools of how to investigate. You have to check out the customer needs, the market size, the competition, the willingness to pay, and the reach, meaning how many of these customers can you reach? And I'll talk more about that. Customer need, talk to people. Go ahead and ask them. Do you actually find this a big problem? Are you actually afraid when you're looking at your first contract? No, not really. They're happy they got their first job. It's a lot of money for them. It's okay. Market size. Google AdWords. If you run one ad in Google AdWords, you can actually see from that point on exact search amounts, search volume per month for different key terms. So if you search for student contract, that's a very special one. If you search for CVs, which is what we ended up doing, you find there's about 3 million searches a month for CVs around the world. 3 million searches around every month is quite a lot. But you can see that pretty exactly, and you can compare ideas and compare the market size. Of course, then you can also look at Google Trends. You can see, is this going up, or is this going down, or is this flat? Just to check, am I stepping into a dying ship here, a sinking ship? And you might think that for CVs, the ship is sinking because of LinkedIn. Turns out every recruiter still wants a CV. And turns out that every student still fears making that CV because they don't know how to do it. So, okay, still working. And we can see that from the trends. It's actually working. Okay, I don't care what you think. The trends are showing it. The numbers are showing it. Competition, talk to people, turn actually out to be much more powerful than Google. Asking people around. You find lots of competitors on Google, but you can see what they are doing. Are they getting these AdWords like the guys were talking before? How many people are you up against? In the case of the CVs, which was one of the 10 ideas, we found that there were some people out there who had phenomenal products, but were not very good at marketing. And we had some other ones who had crappy products, but were great at marketing. And we said, okay, well, we have a lot of clout out there already. We have a lot of traffic already. We can make a pretty good product and have pretty good marketing. So we can probably own this space. But we're doing that for every single product. And willingness to pay, you can see what they're paying competitors. What else are they doing today for similar things? I can talk more about these if you want to ask about them later. Reach. How do you reach? So based on this, just these things, we're able to kill off 6 ideas, saying, hey, these ones we don't want to step into because we're not going to be able to make it. Now here comes the fun one. This is the one that I pitched these guys as the talk for this talk. But it's only going to take a few minutes. So how do you find out, do your users want it? How do you find out? So what we did in our case, we went to market with nothing. We promoted nothing. We pretended we had the product. We marketed it to 1,000 users. We sent an email to, these are 3 emails, very similar emails, pretending we have the product, saying, hey, check it out, learn more, click down here, download, learn more, whatever. And we saw how they reacted. This was our best attempt, very quick best attempt emails. You see, if people want it, if our users want it, they will click even on these shitty emails. If they don't, if we can't get them with these emails, which were kind of like our best attempt at the moment, it's going to be pretty hard to get there. Now, we did a few other versions of this. We did like 2-3 tests for each. The point being, we could kind of see like, if one of these gets a shit ton of clicks, which it did, another one doesn't, we know where to go. we kind of protect ourselves from at least stepping into something that isn't going to work or it's going to be really hard to get into. These led to beta pages, very similar beta pages. We can see how many people were signing up. I can tell you that for CVs, we had about 30% signing up on that beta page. Another one, which was getting a tutor, a digital tutor, about 5%. Where did we go? We went for CVs. Turns out people want it. How did we do this? Well, we have our own email system, but you could use anything, MailChimp, whatever. We use something called launchrock.com for the beta pages. I made these in, 10 minutes each. We sent it out and tried it out, and it worked pretty well. It was kind of important that we sent these emails to our top markets, randomized amount of users from different markets, so that you're not getting some sort of weird results and you're doing it at the same time. So this is a true A/B test. I do want to say, though, that this is important to do in the beginning when you're looking for differences which are on the 100 to 200% scale. We're not looking for 1% differences here. I'm looking for something that kills the other ones, not the little bit. And they were all pretty good, like the ones we had narrowed down to this point. So we did a few more tests to move on. Now, after this, you know how many people will click through, but you don't know how much they're going to pay. And some people will pay more from having a mentor, which was one thing we tried out, or getting a tutor, or buying a CV. They'll pay different amounts. You can look in the competition, you can get a range. And then you can get a range of how many people will click on your emails, how much when you market. You can get a range of how many people you get per month. And from all that, you can make all those into probability distributions like that. And you can calculate on the same basis. You can see, okay, so from this product, the bottom line impact I will probably have is this much and this much, which comes out on the end, and this is all overkill. We did this. Don't do it, all right? I think this is fun. I'm analytical. It was cool. Did it a few more times. I told the guys when we were doing it that this might be overthinking it, and it was. But it's a fun way to do it. Point being that when you do the emails and you get the stuff, at this stage, as I said, 1%, 2%, 10% doesn't really matter. You're looking for 200 times impact on one or the other. You're not looking for a little bit here and a little bit there. So don't go down that, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we found 3 ideas that we kind of thought, or 4 ideas actually, that we kind of thought these can actually work. We have high hope for them. They could go high. And people seem to be wanting them. We've tested a lot and people actually seem to want them. Now, what if we invest 2 months, 1 month, whatever, and we build them? And you invest a lot of developer time, a lot of salary time into actually building the product, and it fails. Because you have hope. We eliminated as much as we could, but we still are only living on hope. What happens if you fail? We added some cushions at the bottom of that steep fall. So what if it fails? If online courses, which was one thing we tried out, fails, marketing online courses from Coursera, these things, we waste our time, okay. We annoy our users because we put ads on there. We clutter the UI. Not too bad stuff, but it's not ideal. If we add mentors, means we have set up partnership with professionals who can mentor students. We waste our time. We annoy our users. We must maintain these relationships over time, which is an active job to do. And we must maintain a low impact product if it fails, because we have these mentors who might have contact with some users, so we have to kind of keep it going even if it's not really working out. Not the best thing to happen. Same thing goes for tutors. If we have tutors or people teaching other people how to do schoolwork because these are students, if it doesn't work, we might have 5 students in there using it, or 10 or 100, which is not enough. And we still have to maintain it on their behalf in order to not hurt our brand too much. Not too cool. If we do CVs and it fails, if we make templates or whatever we make, we annoy our users if it fails, so we waste some time. But users get something nice that we don't have to maintain. Okay, not too bad, right? We built it, okay. We increase our profile completion. It's very important in the student selling job post business that the students have a complete profile. So we complete that. And companies see a lot better CVs from Graduateland. Makes our corporate partners very happy. We can market Graduateland CVs. We can put Graduateland on the CV. When they send it via LinkedIn, we're marketing Graduateland on it. It's also a very nice little hack for you. Anyways, turns out that falling, in this case, doesn't hurt very much. So we go for that one, and that's where we're at. Now, I'm at my time, but I'm going to add one quick hypothetical, kind of like theoretical notes from all this. I've been flying through it, and I hope you'll ask some questions about the specifics. But what is risk and what is hope? Risk is how hard you fall, and how likely you are of falling. Hope is how high you can go. The two are not related. People think that you have to bet a lot in order to win a lot. That is not necessarily true, and that's what we've been hoping to get to this point. The only thing left for our CV builder right now is hope. If it fails, we don't lose very much. It does actually generate some money right now. We have some happy users using it. People are investing in it, and we can build more, we can market from it. But we don't lose very much if it fails. But we can still go very, very high if it happens to succeed. There's no certainty in this game. You can only reduce uncertainty. This entire process has been about taking a lot of stuff which could be bad or it could be good and we have no idea, and narrowing it down and narrowing it down. So for every data point you collect, every time we think about it, or a little bit we do, you get less uncertain. You don't get more certain. You get less uncertain. There's a big, big difference because you can never know for sure, so don't try to know for sure. But this is not a linear curve. So in the very beginning, every single data point you collect, every single person you talk with or ask, or every single data point you collect from how people move on the website will tell you a lot more than the next one will. As you get down towards the bottom, this is the thing you should take a picture of and tweet if you want to do that. If you get down to the bottom, the effect of every single data point is less and less and less. So at some point you get to the point where the cost of collecting more data is not actually rewarded back to you unless you have a huge business. So I can split this into 3 parts, which is where are you. So the first one is discovery. 31 ideas, we have no idea, just thinking about them helps us collect the first data point and reduce it down. The next one is refinement. This is usually the scary part where you actually look and you try it out and you test the MEPs. And the last one is ego boosting. That's when I said, don't do this, don't do that. You're thinking about it too much. At this stage, don't do that stuff. You only need to know if something is 100% better, not 10% better. So don't think about it. The problem is that the refinement part is very scary because you actually find out if the CV thing or the mentor thing will actually work. So how do you get around that? You do 31 things to start off. You don't do one. Because if you only do one, when you start refining, you start defending it. So we have gotten to this point where we're eliminating all the risk. We have lots of hope left. We hope it will work. We're pretty sure we have lots of very little uncertainty left. We hope it can still work. But if we fall, we don't fall too far. Thank you.